Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you for a Silverstein album review for This Is How the Wind Shifts, the seventh album. Sorry, I keep slurring with my wording for some odd reason. So I'm basically tired too, because I just tired, mostly so, because of the weather too. But basically, yeah. This is for their seventh studio album, so I'm going to discuss what I listened to for all 21 songs, which includes the deluxe edition tracks, because regular edition is like a 14-track album. But overall, yeah, let's dive right into this album review, and I'll let you know my thoughts on all these songs. So, Stand Amid the Roar, I almost said rear by mistake. Stand Amid the Roar is the first song. And off the bat, Shane Told's screaming vocals are quite outstanding, in my opinion. Really enjoyed this track for how it sounded. So this is a 5 out of 5 for sure. Really dug the first song. There's some clean vocals from time to time, but mostly the screaming is what the best part about the track is. What I really liked about it was the screaming. So 5 out of 5. On Brave Mountains We Conquer is a great track in its own way. You give it a 5 out of 5 too. I like Shane Told's clean vocals, and mostly his screams are pretty outstanding, so great track. Massachusetts is his third song. Massachusetts. I'm slurring with my wording, so please forgive me on my mispronunciation. Great track. I like the melody overall. This track is really catchy as well, and this is a banger for sure. So 5 out of 5. This Is How was a pretty good song. Not one of my favorites for the record, but still pretty good in its own way. So 4.75 out of 5. A Better Place was pretty good. I really enjoyed the melody overall. This song was very catchy, and I like Shane Told's vocal performance in this. It sounded really good, this track, so 5 out of 5. Hide Your Secrets was pretty good song in its own way, so I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5 for this one. I think Shane Told's vocals were really melodic in this track. There were some moments where the melody was slow paced a bit, but it worked in its own way. Arrivals is a above decent track. I wasn't sure if I was crazy for this track, to be honest. It's one of the weaker ones, along with the voice note cover that I will be talking about later on in the review. So this is a 4.25 out of 5 for this one. In a Place of Solace is a really good song. It's a lot of background screaming from Shane Told in the background, mostly in the track. The melody takes majority of the sound over of the song, and you hear Shane Told screaming in the background, and it still sounds pretty good. So, great track, 5 out of 5. In Silent Seas We Drown is a pretty rockish track. I really enjoyed this song for how it sounded. Shane Told's screaming vocals are great, and his clean vocals are pretty solid too. 5 out of 5. California was a pretty catchy track with how it sounded. It was melodic at times, but still executed pretty well for Shane Told's clean vocals. So 5 out of 5. The Wind Shifts is a 4.75 out of 5. I didn't hate this track for how it sounded, but it was only like an interlude, so it's not much of a track, but it's fine for how it sounded. So 4.75 out of 5. To Live and to Lose is a pretty good song in its own way, so I'd give this another 4.75 out of 5. I like the majority of the melody, but there's some execution flaws with how Shane Told us singing it from time to time that I don't know if I'm on board with or if I like it. So I'm in the middle of pretty good to really good. So 4.75 out of 5 with Seconds Chances. I believe is what it's called. This track is actually pretty good. I think it's called With Second Chances. I don't know. It was the title of it. It sounds a little off-putting with how It's worded mostly, but I'm just like, that doesn't sound right. I think it's with Second Chances. But still a pretty strong track, and I definitely like this song. 5 out of 5. It's the second to last song before you get to the closing track. So Departures is the closing track for the whole record. For not the whole record, just for the regular edition. But it's still pretty good in its own way, so I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. For 2 minutes and 28 seconds, I was slightly entertained. I Will Illuminate was a great track. It's off the deluxe edition. It's a regular deluxe edition track. So, really enjoyed this song. Shane Told's screaming vocals are outstanding, and the instrumentation in it is pretty strong. So, 5 out of 5. Kill the Lights had a lot of Shane Told's clean vocals in this track, but it still sounded really good for how it was executing. So, I dig this track. 5 out of 5. Massachusetts acoustic version is actually a really good acoustic version for how it sounds. Shane Told singing melodically sounds amazing, and I like the acoustic guitar work in it. It sounds really well executed for the mixing and production and how they set this song in motion. So, 5 out of 5. One Last Dance is off the Short Songs album that they did a little, like maybe uh, from the last release I did, which I only talked in did a 55-second short video for Short Songs, the Silverstein album review, that quick album review, because I think it was necessary to do that, honestly, because it is a short album. It's like about 30 minutes or so. It's not very long. With all 22 tracks, you get like minute to minute and a half or so songs and 45-second tracks and shorter. So basically, I'd give this a 5 out of 5. It's pretty good for the minute and 36-second for the acoustic version. Sounds really nice. Departures acoustic was really good. I really enjoyed this version more than the original track. Even though the original track is pretty good, I think this one personally is my favorite for the acoustic version. So 5 out of 5. Arrival's voice note is a above decent track. I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but it's fine in its own way. So 4.25 out of 5. It's just the backing vocals from the other guy singing, and I don't know if I was liking it or not. And finally, we get to the full title of this track, because it had This Is How the Wind Shifts, and it's combined all into this track called This Is How the Wind Shifts. It's not really much of a song, and you only get a minute and 22 seconds of a track, but it's not too bad for how it sounds. So 4.75 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, there were some moments I liked in this album. Excuse my sneezing. Please forgive that. Yeah, I am so sorry about that. I just had to do that. So please forgive me on doing that. Basically, this is how the wind shifts, and just allergies too as well, so it's getting to me. This album was actually good in its own way, but there are some execution flaws that I have with this record. For instance, you have This Is How being a pretty good track, but not well executed. Then you have Arrival's voice note that was kind of a downgrade to how the songs sound overall. But overall, in my opinion, I think this album is good in its own way. And I'm very sorry about sneezing in this video. My nose was getting to me. It's allergy season 2 as well, so that's another thing. It's just probably the dandruff in my room or around my house too as well. So basically, for a score, I'm going to give Silverstein This Is How the Wind Shifts album an 8 out of 10. Good album in its own way, but there are some songs that didn't execute to its full potential, meaning they weren't as great as I thought they'd be. but still good album. I like Massachusetts. I like Stand Amid the Roar, and On Brave Mountains We Conquer, Better Place, In a Place of Solace, then In Silent Seas We Drown, California, with Second Chances, I Will Illuminate, Kill the Lights, and a few of the acoustic tracks like Massachusetts Acoustic, One Last Dance Acoustic, and Departures Acoustic. Those were the tracks I really liked. Everything else was fine to above decent, but it could have been a little better utilized, this record. But still, 8 out of 10 for Silverstein. This is How the Wind Shifts album. Thank you for watching this album review today.